Episode Duece, take two, Too Thick Pod, your home for all things sports, cards, and levity. I am the captain of this ship, Captain Jeremy. You can follow me at Reckless Cards. I'm joined by my number one seaman working the poop deck, my guy, Manny. Good evening, young man.
What's up? How are you? I like the other take when you said that you're the driver, because I was going to say, yeah, you're my Uber, and you got to take me where I want to go, bitch. But you said seaman, you got the joke out, so you got me. Welcome to the Hobbit release, everyone. Episode 2-2. I'm excited. It's Wednesday. I get to talk to my favorite card guy. I've been holding back. Like I call Jeremy all the time, never answers, so I'm pretty pumped right now. I get to talk to Jeremy. I get his time for at least an hour. I get to be in his presence. So let's get started.
In fairness, I like everybody gets the FU button from me. It's not unique to you. Courtney gets it. The owner of my company gets it. Like, I have stuff to do. I'm wheeling and dealing. I woke up this morning. I was in Cincinnati. Then I was in Kentucky. Then I was in Virginia and still back in Michigan in time to record this. And tomorrow by 9 a.m., I will be in Canton, Ohio, right outside the NFL Hall of Fame. And so I'm moving and shaking, baby. I got things to do. If we want the Too Thick Pod to ascend to the mountaintop, you got to let me be free. Let me do my thing, kid.
Yeah, let the eagle roam.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're roaming everywhere. Do you want to discuss this weekend? You went to a show, not in Michigan, not in Ohio, not in Indiana, not in Kentucky, but in Illinois, in Chicago, in your homeland.
Did you say Illinois?
No, I said Illinois.
We have to roll the tape back. I'm pretty sure that you enunciated that S very clearly.
Hey, don't worry about it. There is an S.
As a Chicagoan who has made his way to Michigan, nothing drives people from Illinois more crazy than the inbred people who don't understand how to say a state the correct way.
Well, you guys don't know how to spell it then. I mean, you put the S on the end.
Hey man, I didn't spell the damn thing. I was just born there. And there's a reason I don't. And there's a reason I don't live there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But you did go to a show there. Skyline, was it called?
Yeah, no. But before I get into that, I want to apologize to you, a formal apology, and to the viewing audience. As you can see, I'm working out of the Reckless Cards card shop, which is cool. But the way the studio and the camera and the way CBS came and set everything up, I'm right here right now. As you know, we finished the pool and the basement is still kind of under construction. So I don't have, you've got the 84-inch 5K TV right behind you. You've got the beautiful accent wall with the barn wood that was, that was pulled from a some prestigious barn in the 1800s as your backdrop. And then here I am with the kid-friendly green walls and some, a crappy cardboard box over my shoulder that my OCD is really driving me crazy about. So we're gonna work through it.
Did you see you missed you and Courtney's toy back there?
That's by design, sir. That is by design. Yeah, man. So it was truly a fun weekend. It was unique though, because it was the first time that I rolled solo to set up at a show. The fine folks at Luddux reached out and were like, hey man, we really want you to be a part of it. And they've always been over the top friendly. They've sent us, the swag. But more important than stuff like that is the way that they treat us and the way they interact, not only with myself, but with Courtney, with my kids, and then just watching them deal with other people, I have always found appealing. And so when they asked, it's always an honor when somebody asks you to be a part of something. We don't take anything for granted. And so Courtney's like, yeah, Jeremy will be there. And I said, no, you come on, you're going. And she said, our 16-year-old was having a party. She's been working a lot this summer. She interns at my company. And so it was her time. And we wanted to be respectful of that. So I had to go solo dolo. I brought the boy. And we made the trek out to Chicago. And it was an incredible show.
Are they nice to you because you look like Brian Urlacher when he was playing?
Look
Pre-hair?
nothing like I look nothing like Brian Urlacher. Like,
I'm joking.
yeah, Brian Urlacher's never like achieved a level of handsomeness that you get to look at, for 1 hour every Wednesday night that I don't charge you for.
Yep.
You know what trips me out is when I go back through Chicago, Brian Urlacher always had the shaved head, right?
Yep.
And when you drive through Chicago, whatever company gave him hair, there
Yeah.
is 1,000 billboards. So I just have to look at a guy who I grew up watching play football, was bald, who all of a sudden has a full head of hair, billboard after billboard after billboard, which is it's just like a complete mind fuck. It's not something I'm used to.
How does the bald head community feel about this? That he just left your guys' community high and dry?
Dude, when I was in high school, I'm not gonna lie, my hair was like this long. I used to braid it. I used to be blonde, and I always wore hats, right? And
Yeah.
so, like, the moment I started to even have like a little bit of a receding hairline, I just started shaving it. And I was cool with it. Like, I
Yeah.
never understood dudes who get like all worked up about their hair. It's just like it is what it
Well,
is, man. I shave my head and go for it.
you got a perfect head for being bald. I got a peanut head. I'd look like one of those cone heads if I was bald. So hopefully I never go bald. I think my head's a little indented from falling when I was little, so can't
I,
have
I
that.
I do. I save a ton of money, man, because when I was a young strapping lad on the come up, you know what I mean. Before I locked court down, it
Yep.
was like every week I had to go out. I wouldn't go out if I didn't have a fresh cut.
Yeah, that's how I am.
Like I wouldn't. Like that was not an option. It wasn't
Yep.
like, hey, I know I just got my hair cut 5 days ago, but I'm going to go out tonight. If I don't have a fresh cut, if I'm not lined up and my stuff's not tight, I'm not going.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Um,
but I guess Urlacher's getting that bag, right? He's getting that money, and so good on him.
yeah.
But back to the show, it was right outside Rosemont, really close to where the National was held last year. I
Okay.
liked the venue because it was big, it was carpeted, it was air conditioned, it was set up nicely. You had somebody like, essentially escort you to your table.
Oh
So it was
wow.
it was well run. But the Luddux folks coming by, making sure are you good? Can we get you anything? Bring bottles of water. Everybody knew that there was a Starbucks like a 2-minute walk away, which appealed to me, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like they know the end user, they know the consumer. There's a Starbucks right there, and I
Yeah.
did, man. I let the boy, King Steven, who's got a little Instagram, I let him put in some work, and I said, hey, man, you're gonna watch over these cards, and I'm gonna go get Starbucks, and
Yep.
that's how we started the show.
Do you want to kind of share what card you picked up, where you started, and how you traded up to get your the card that you have now?
Yeah, no. That one thing I want to talk about is I'm sometimes confused in the sense that I go on social media, I go on Twitter, Instagram. I'm not. Courtney handles TikTok. I listen to podcasts, and every time everybody's dying,
I know.
everybody's dead, nobody's having fun, everything sucks. And I got to be honest, I had a blast. We rolled out Friday night. We got into the hotel. We were talking about cards, and because it was just Steven and myself, I got to have a conversation that was not high level in the sense where it's advanced, like the conversations me and Court would have or you and I have, but it was like a 13, 14-year-old who has aspirations to do more, who is influenced by the stuff he sees. And so I got to spend some time, like some real quality time talking about it, like, understanding his thought process and trying to deliver a message that would appeal to him.
Hmm.
Because when you just say work, 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 he's just like, yeah, to hell with you, Dad. That doesn't sound like fun. I want 6-figure cards. And so
Exactly.
we got to spend some time, and then it was cool. And I really cherished the opportunity as we walked the show, or we were set up and people walked the show. I didn't let them sit. I
Hmm.
absolutely hate when I go to a show and a vendor is sitting at the table and he acts like he's miserable and doesn't want to be there.
Hmm.
So like I taught him the importance of like having conversations. And I'm telling you all this because one of the bigger deals that we did was a result of somebody that came up at the beginning of the show. We had a good dialogue, we connected, we had some mutual friends in the space, but you could tell there was like a level of comfort in the guy, articulated, hey, I'm going to make the rounds first, but I'm going to stop back. And so at that point, I'm balancing being reckless cards who's trying to sell cards, which everything's priced fairly, and also like a dad who
Mm-hmm.
wants his kid to not only have a good time but to learn, because we've spoke about this in the past. When Steven is very naive, and he is very um what's the word I'm looking for, trusting, and I love that innocence, but unfortunately it's hurt him in the pocketbook a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And so him forcing him to stand up and talk with people, I think there was a level of education that he had to experience for himself. He couldn't take it from mom and dad. And
Yeah.
so it was cool. And I know I'm being long winded, but it was just important to me as a parent for him to hear maybe the same message from a different voice, but also talking about, when you're having a conversation, what are some things you picked up? Like, what did you pick up from that guy? What were your thoughts on that guy? And so, like, one kid in particular, he identified real quick that we're probably not going to get a deal done based on something he said. And I'm like, spot on.
Mm-hmm.
100% spot on. Nothing's there, that he's just fishing. So, this is supposed to be fun, and I'm sure people listening to me talk about my damn kid isn't fun. So, just from a parent, it was cool.
Yeah. No, it is cool. I actually, being a parent as well, like when we're young, our parents got us into sports, right? Because it gives you that life lessons the traits you learn there. Like if you're a captain, you get the leadership kind of vibe. But cards, where people don't realize, kind of what you said is being at a card show, um, and communicating with people. You get that customer service. He gains a little bit of confidence in himself. Like it actually is a good traits to have your kids there. Even, I mean, like my kid right now is 3. I have her ripping packs, and you said that everyone's talking about the hobby being dead, right? My kid and me are ripping homie packs. I don't know if you know the homies.
Oh, yeah.
They used to be a little like figurine. I used to collect them as a kid, and I
You see him
saw
with the laundry mat when I was really young, like, because we had to go
yeah,
to the laundry mat to do it.
yeah. So I got 2 hobby boxes or 2 boxes of them, and I've been just ripping them. They're not worth anything, but it's kind of cool to be like, yeah, I had this little mini thing, and she's about like, what's wrong with you, Dad? What are these things? And she rips them, but it gives her that I'm trying to start her young. Your kids are
Yeah,
into like Spider-Man and Pokemon, and mine's over here ripping homie packs.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
I was gonna say, also, if you want to get into that, I know you're talking about your son, but the card, I'm interested of like the card you got and how you got there, because everyone, like you said, everyone in the hobby saying hobby's dead, everything's going down. But then, what did you do this weekend?
yeah, if I didn't have the internet to have like some kind of narrative, and I had to judge it based on my interactions with human beings, the show was packed.
Yep.
People were spending money, but some people were in fact getting liquid because they wanted to go to the show. But everybody was in a good mood. Everybody was having a good time. There was, let's just say, approximately 100 tables. And what was cool about this show is, and I hope I'm probably going to maybe potentially make somebody mad because I might be out of line, but I don't think any of the dealers had to pay for their table. So it was like a free setup.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, timeout, because I don't want to forget this. This is important. At the end of the show, they had the whole thing catered for everybody with something called Cane's Chicken.
Dude, Cane's Chicken, you know me, is my favorite like fast food restaurant. We live in Michigan. We don't have a Cane's. You didn't bring me any Cane's. I was pretty sad. You actually were in Cincinnati today. No Cane's. But yeah, Cane's is really good. That's my goal, is to be sponsored by Cane's. I'm gonna start wearing Cane's hats every day. You said you never had it.
I've never had it. I'm gonna try to have it tomorrow with Amelia when we're making our way through Ohio. But yeah, man, that would be a big bag. We get Cane's, we get Starbucks, and then
Yeah.
and game over right there. Game over.
So the people that put on the show, Luddix, they got you prepared Canes for you afterwards, free tables, and they were checking to see how you guys were doing throughout the show. It seemed like an awesome show.
Yeah,
I
well,
wish
and
I.
then they gave Steven a gift bag. You got a Brian Urlacher autograph.
Oh,
And yeah,
really?
they had like some serious like 85 Bears, like Dick Butkus. They're
Yeah,
doing autographs. So the traffic was good. And again, the venue was awesome. And they're
that's
gonna have
awesome.
another show, and we'll post it because we're gonna set up and we're actually gonna go to the Ludex headquarters. And
Hmm.
because I think the app is cool and I'm not paid, not a commercial. So if you hate it, you hate it. That's cool. These are people that were kind to me and my family. And so I think the right thing to do is acknowledge that. And it wasn't just one person at one time. It was every 10, 15 minutes. Hey, is everything cool? What can we do to make this better? And I had one suggestion. Like, this to me is almost like a destination show. It's not Dallas or something like that. But if
Hmm.
I'm making my way into Chicago, it'd be cool if we had a trade night the night before.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
and I love trade nights, and they thought that was a really good idea. At least they had the decency to lie to my face and tell me that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So back to the actual show, which we're 25 minutes in. I haven't even told you anything. So one card, and I want to be transparent because I think that that's fair. I had picked up for a relatively cheap price point, maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, was a Zach Wilson Panini 1-in-1. On card auto, beautiful patch, gold precision, numbered out of 10.
Yep.
Okay. Now, a couple of similar cards, the same card for the Zach Wilson or the Trey Lance and the Justin Fields recently did 1,500 and 1,700. One of them was redemption, one of them was the actual card. However, there was a Zach Wilson that was very similar that in early May had gone for 600. So I have this card that I know if I'm trying to buy, I can argue why it's a $600 card.
Mhm.
Also, if I'm trying to sell it, I can argue and justify as football's building why it's a 15 or it's closer to that $1,500 to $1,700.
Yep.
Right?
Hmm.
Football's trending. Everybody's getting excited. That sale for Zach was before he came out and took his shirt off, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's thick and jacked." And then
Hmm.
now he's a homie hopper or something like that. I don't understand what the kids are talking about,
Yeah.
but it was a card that when it caught a lot of interest. That was the thing. Like, quarterbacks were king at this show, and so there was serious interest, and then it became quite apparent as everybody's trying to get the best deal. And I would say overwhelmingly, with the exception of one person, everybody was like very fair. The conversations were like, yeah, that makes sense, and so I had priced it for $1,100. I'm
Yep.
like, you know what, I'm right in the middle. 1,000 cash was going to take it, you know and there was a lot of interest. So the gentleman who I spoke with at the beginning, very good conversation. Like, he had some serious heat. And I'm like, the one card, honestly, man, that I would be interested in is the Justin Herbert Green Pulsar PSA 9 auto. I'm
Hmm.
like, everything else is cool, but I'm like, my thought process right now is money that I put into cards, I need to be able to transact, and I have a lot of cards that I need to hold or are a little bit more of a struggle to move. I want some liquid stuff. And even though I don't necessarily believe that Justin Herbert is the play, for me personally, not for anybody else, I thought that, this would be the card that I would be interested in.
Hmm.
One thing I recognized in this guy's box is he had all sorts of stuff from all sports. He told me he bought into a lot of breaks. He also had bought a hobby box of Prism basketball. Second time he passed the show, he had ripped it. So I'm like, dude, at this crowded show, you bought a hobby box. You found somewhere to dip off and rip the box of cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I pounded him with DAP. I'm like, you're my kind of guy. You're truly a degen,
Yeah.
like me. So didn't think anything of it. He made his way back around. Now, at this point, the traffic's starting to slow down, and it's getting closer. The show ran till 4. Well, at 3 o'clock, some of the dealers started actually like packing up, which, in my opinion, again, I'm going to probably piss some people off. I just told you how we were treated and that it was for free.
Yep.
I think the least you can do as a professional is stay for the duration of the show,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Now, I'm sure maybe some people had certain situations or circumstances that they had to leave, but I just felt like a lot of people just said, well, foot traffic slowed down. We're going to get the hell out of here. Well, at the same time, not a lot, but people are starting to come in that are just getting there because they had family commitments, parties, little league, whatever the case may be. And so guess what? More traffic coming to my table.
Yep.
So the guy comes back and he's like, look, I really want the Zach Wilson. I think that your assessment or the way you're talking about it is fair with me. I've got a lot of upside in the Herbert. And he's like, I'd like to make a deal. And so the last 3 Herberts had gone for approximately like $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool. So I ended up giving him the Zach plus $100, $150 to be exact,
Mm-hmm.
for the Herbert.
Yep.
So really, in a matter of a couple of weeks, I was into the Zach for $600-700. I threw in $150 today, and now I've got the Herbert that's $1,500-1,600.
That's so awesome. It's good to hear stories like that because on the opposite side, we'll go to Manny. I took L's all weekend and I love it. I mean, I'm enjoying the hobby, but you're like the winner out of us, and I'm the loser always on this. But yeah, you take L's too, but I'm saying that specifically this weekend. And I can tell you more about mine. But first, I do want to talk like Ludex. Do you want to bring up like what that actually is? Because there's going to be people that don't know what Ludex is.
Yeah, so it's an app. Again, not a commercial, not paid.
Okay.
I just, we've met them a couple times. They've always been super friendly and like good people. You want to support anything. Like we just did hobby night school with, Adam, the Real 27 guy. And, we've always given away free magazines from Basketball Card Fanatic magazine, just because it's something we believe in. It's an app. You scan the card and like that, it pulls the card up. It tells you exactly what it is and what the value is. And
That's
so
awesome.
there's a lot of other stuff, and I don't want to do it a disservice, but there's a lot of other software that they're building that'll make the app potentially a game changer if utilized correctly. And so we're actually going to have them on and chat. They're good people, and I want them to be successful because good people who work hard. I'm a big fan of people like that winning.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say we need to have them on so they could talk about their software and all that in a little more detail than us. But yeah, let me talk about my weekend. So I was getting sniped by Chris Kyle on eBay all weekend. I lost so many auctions. It's not even fun. I lost by $1 at one point. I also took L's because I'm starting to. Remember last week I was saying, do I buy in bulk or do I buy one big card? So I was looking at like lots, and I sent it to you. And this is how Jeremy responds. It's awesome. I said, hey, should I take this? And it was like 10,000 like cards. Some of them were short prints, a lot of base. But it was essentially like 10 cents a card, right? So if I bought it, took it to a show, and sold it there, maybe I make some money instantly. That was my thought. I sent it to you, and you're like, no. That's all I got out of Jeremy. I was like, I guess I'm not buying this. So I was taking L's there. That was like, I was cracking up laughing. Once you said no, I was like, well, I guess I'm not buying a lot off eBay.
One thing that I found that is really starting to become advantageous for Courtney and myself is, a lot of people you hear dive into one sport and know it from like the back of your hand, which is, that's great. But for me, I was getting bored because, as you switch, it was always rip wax.
Yep.
Like, and I never knew that, like, I always thought that people didn't rip wax. Like I've said this a million times, were like psychopaths. Like, how can you have fun? Like part of the fun is ripping wax. And then it was like, no, you know the sport. I'm like, well, that's like, it's kind of hard to be jazzed about baseball in December or, into football in March and April.
Yeah.
So as a result of that, I'm like, man, I want to learn about different sports. So it always kept it fresh. And because you're constantly trying to follow and understand trends and the different people. At times it's been confusing, but I've noticed recently, because I would say that, and this is not a pat on the back, but I know enough, or I'm a little more well-rounded, that
Mhm.
I have the ability to see arbitrage that others might not see.
Yeah, and
Well,
you're
like
really
when stuff crossed my path, like I was in a fire sale the other night, and I went for an Mbappe gold refractor. I was waiting for it. I had a number in mind, and sometimes on fire sales you get stuff at a complete steal. Well, the way this was, everybody shot their wad on the Mbappe. So like the next one that came up was a Jow, and people don't. It's a gold numbered out of 50 PSA 9. I
Yep.
didn't look at the card. I got it for like $7, $8, maybe $10. And anybody knows, like, this guy's got a lot of upside. Next up was a lot of Topps Chrome and like rookies, and so this is Sukic,
Yep.
and I believe this card alone is like 15 to $25. I took the whole lot for $3, and the guy who was selling it understood. He's like, dude, you just got the biggest steal of the night, but nobody knew who these players were. And
Yep.
not that I know like in depth who they are, but like I understand, like, hey, who are the hottest young soccer players that are under 18? And a lot of my thought process is they don't necessarily have to be good, but people are looking at the same lists and trying to be out in front of the next big thing. So, like, to me, I spent like maybe $14, including shipping, for all those cards,
That's
and I have
awesome.
no doubt that I'll be able to, like, if I want to keep them, I can keep some of them, but I can also sell them and move into other cards. And so, like, I think we should do one whole episode about buying and selling, because there's so many little tricks that, I'm sure somebody's going to say I'm a complete idiot, but that have worked for us. And it's like everybody gets so focused on looking at a Herbert and trying to get a Herbert that everybody's looking at, and buy it for 1,500 to sell it for 1,550, when like
Hmm.
there's tons of 1, 2, 3, 4, 20, $50, $100 cards that you can pick up and easily 2, 3, 4, 5, 10x your money with like minimal effort, if you're just willing to do a little bit of education on the front end.
Yeah, I guess my biggest like return off buying was Prism draft picks, and I bought like a lot of them for like 150. And what I did was just single them out. And when they had big games, I would just sell players as they come. I've made like 5 times the amount just off draft picks. And you wouldn't think, when you think draft picks, you're like, nah, people don't collect draft picks. But when, for example, Jordan Poole went off in the playoffs, I pulled out my Jordan Poole stack, had 70 cards, and there's short prints, there's colors and all that. So whoever bought them had a deal, but I just priced them at $1 a card. And people were buying them up because I made my money. I don't care about, I don't want to
Exactly.
nickel and dime someone when I already made my money. But I still have like Darius Garland. I have like so many other players that I could still sell, and I've already 5 times my money. So that's kind of why I was going for the lot. Is there a reason? Do you want to like say why you said no right away? Is it just a work that needed to be done to actually sell those cards?
Yeah, well, I see lots like that all the time,
Hmm.
and like really, what the thought process or what goes into the psyche, because we've bought them, is it only takes one card,
Yeah.
but it's really like the amount of time and effort to properly go through them, check them, and find out what's valuable. There's a reason they're selling 10,000 cards,
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay.
and so
But
like, can I be honest?
yeah, I'm
Like,
an idiot.
if you want to scrap it, we can scrap it. But I reached out and I called you and I was like, hey man, just out of curiosity, like, I won't get into numbers, but I started prying a little bit. I'm like, I'm not trying to get involved in your
Yeah.
business, but like, what kind of budget are you working with? And because what I as a friend, what I didn't want for you is the desperation to be the driver. And I think sometimes there is I'll call it FOMO, because you see people buying and selling, and you're like, shit, I have to get in on the action. But
Yeah.
if that's the motivator into what you're buying, that sometimes isn't the bad thing. So it's good to like I was trying to basically be like, pump the brakes
Yeah.
we're gonna find something that's gonna be correct for you and kick ass. Don't
Mhm.
just spend it to spend money because that's not going to necessarily yield the result that you want.
See that? I mean, when you asked that question, it would have been nice if you explained it like that, so I didn't go and buy other card. No, I'm joking. Jeremy tells me this. He asked me the question, I answer it, and no response. I get it. I get it. You're a busy man, but no. I mean, I guess it's not L's that I was taking because me not buying the cards maybe saved me some money for a national or for a bigger purchase. That's how I should look at it. But yeah, I was trying to buy like it was like a Landon Donovan and Christian Pulisic dual auto on the card. I thought it was sick. I got outbid on that. I got outbid on a couple soccer cards. One of the players that I have in mind right now, I don't want to say it because I'm going to get sniped even more. I told you the player, but I don't know. I'm getting sniped, but it's actually a good thing because in my mind, I'm like, well, people are buying these cards. Everyone's saying the hobby's dead, right? But there's people buying them all like on eBay 24/7. So I don't think the hobby's dead. I just think people are just on content. They're just scared. I guess are they scared? So they're saying it's dead. I don't know.
Well, I think too because we do this for fun, right?
Yeah,
And I want to be clear because I never understood the nuance when people said that when I first like really got back into it. You're mindful of what's going on with your money, right? Because if I only have $1,000 to play with and I rip one box and nothing comes of it, well, that's not so much fun because now there's nothing for me to play with. So you want to have fun, but be able to use those cards to be able to buy or sell to get into other cards. So like
yeah,
being mindful of the money is important, but doing it in a way that's fun for you truly is what leads to the best results.
yeah.
And and so like one tip that I would have, and we're kind of all over the place, but I like it because to me this is just like natural. Is I had a guy come through and he had a box of cards, and it was like the coolest because it was all over the place. There was some pop culture, there was baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey, football, and I'm just like having a normal conversation. Hey man, these are cool cards. I like that it's all over the place. What do you collect? Yada yada yada. And I'm identifying as I'm going through the cards what I
Mhm.
would be interested in. And my man tells me right away, he's like, I only collect football. So, you know what I pick up on is like, okay, all the soccer stuff that I like, that might be a play. Let's see what's that. And so I'm like, hey, these are what I'd be interested in. You know,
Yep.
then I get out my phone and I'm looking at eBay and Card Ladder. And like he's like, you know, honestly, he's like, I don't like any of this stuff. He's like, if I could get $80 out of these cards, I would be great. Well, one
Mhm.
of them was like a Pew, a girl, like a U.S. women's national team player, number to 75. That card alone was like 75, $80. And there was like a couple of like 16, 17-year-old Topps Chrome refractors that were autographs
Yeah.
that like at that point, I'm like, deal. Because I looked
Yeah.
up one other card that was at like 60 or 70. And then with soccer, a 16-year-old auto refractor,
Mhm.
that doesn't even need to be good. I'm sure that somebody is going to get excited when he signs with a bigger, if he signs with a bigger club.
Yeah.
I'm good. But it was the football and just having the conversation and paying attention to what they're saying that they don't care. Like to him, $80 so he could go buy a Joe Burrow or whatever the case may be was more important than what potential upside there was in his soccer cards.
Yeah, for sure. He didn't want to sit on it and
Yeah.
wait, but you will.
Yeah.
I want to ask what are these NBA players smoking? Or they must be doing drugs lately. I don't know if you see all the headlines recently, and it's all
Yeah.
these players. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, like NBA is like, yeah, you can smoke weed. We're not going to drug test. And some of these guys need to chill. Um,
They're doing more
obviously,
with me.
obviously, Ja Morant saying that he would cook Jordan or smoke Jordan or whatever the hell he said was outlandish.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Now, I would say like if I was going to be, I think most people their normal reaction is like, "What the hell are you talking about?" you shoot 7 of 27. Your team's actually better when you're off the court. You have some
Yep.
highlight dunks, but you're like, you're one sprained ankle away from like giving everybody a damn heart attack.
Yep.
If I was his manager or I was his representation, I would simply say, what attitude do you expect him to have? Like if you're a world champion fighter or aspire to be, your mentality is that you can beat anybody. And so if Ja Morant, I would say maybe there's a little bit of respect for that he thinks his game's there, but he can also think that his game is going to be elite while acknowledging or recognizing that Jordan's his daddy.
Yeah. What is up with these new players thinking that the old players wouldn't be able to play in the new era? Like, I don't think people understand if, say, for example, Michael Jordan was playing right now, he would spend most of his back in the day when he first started. I don't know if you saw the documentary. He said people would do drugs in the locker room. They wouldn't care. They would eat whatever. If he's in this today's age where everyone's working on their body, he's going to be working on his body times 10. Like LeBron James saying he spends $1 million a year on his body. You don't think Michael Jordan's going to spend $2 million on his body for a year? Like, and just imagine MJ going in the paint and can't be touched. MJ could play in this era. Shaq would be able to play in this era. Shaq would probably foul out, honestly, for how aggressive he played. But his body would be in shape. Like, people don't understand this. Andre Iguodala saying Rasheed Wallace would be better than Giannis.
Ball don't lie. Ball don't lie.
How is that even possible?
So I liked Rasheed, and I hate that I'm gonna have to talk about this because of something Andre Iguodala said. I'll say this: when Jordan, he was a different beast back in those days. Bulls get knocked out of the playoffs. It's the next day. He's training. He's putting on muscle to take the ass whippings that he's getting from the Pistons. You know what I mean? The bad boys. And that's when you punch somebody in the head and only get a technical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You pistol whip somebody, you get a technical. Here, there's guys that get, flagrant and get tossed for much more ticky-tack fouls. I think it's just a young kid, maybe a little feeling himself. I'm sure there's a buzz in Memphis for what the Grizzlies, a little bit of winning. But, I mean, I can't lend any more credence to this topic, but the all-time greats could play in any era. And I think it's just something young people want to say, like recency bias, but Jordan would be fine. Like, look, the dude played 82 games a year.
Yeah.
He played. He wasn't taking no days off. And let's mind you, he's winning gold medals with the Dream Team. He's 6 NBA championship runs, right? All the other times made the playoffs and didn't get there. There's a lot of miles in that body, and he wasn't taking games off.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Other than a broken foot, that man played.
Yeah, and I thought it was funny because did you see the quote from Ja? He was listing superstars in today's league, and he was like, Luka, and then his last person was Trae Young, and I just start laughing. I'm like, how do you consider Trae Young a superstar? Is he a hobby? He can't play defense. He can't do anything. He can shoot, score. I mean, he scores points, but I mean, does that you're one dimensional? So does people like him because he had his playoff run last year? So I think that's funny. Today's age players, which are our age, my age players, probably not yours. As an old person joke.
I got you, bro. I got you.
They just, I don't know. I do like the Ja saying, like, having that mentality, but he needs to calm down a little bit. And I don't know how do you think the hobby, do they like it because of that mentality, or because there's a lot of like MJ fans out there? Are they going to be like, yeah, I don't want Ja anymore because he's kind of
I will say, like, I will look at him slightly different.
Yeah, see, people are going to look at him different.
Like, because to me, he's like this high flying, flashy. He always seemed like a cool dude, but now probably in the back of my mind, like that's kind of a little bit of a bag. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell's going on upstairs with Ja?
Exactly. we don't have to keep going in the NBA because I know it's just summer league and people. If you turn on ESPN, people are talking about the summer league reaching about Chet and Andre.
No, you promised me we wouldn't talk about Chet. I don't care. I don't care, man.
But
No Chet, please.
you want to know what I'm thinking about?
What's that?
Formula One, Ferrari boy, Charles Leclerc winning at Austria at Red Bull's facility. Look, I'm all red right here. I'm so pumped, but I was so scared. My heart was beating out of my chest. They can never just win easily. It always has to be something. I don't know if you saw the race, but Carlo, the first like 50 laps, Ferrari was killing it. And I'm pumped. I'm ecstatic. I get a text or tweet about you saying the Ferrari boys are going to mess it up. And then Carlos Sainz blows an engine. And then Charles starts having throttle issues. I'm like sweating the whole time. I never thought I would sweat during Formula One. But I was proud that Charles got first place.
Oh my God. I'm like, I was like, hey, I just want something cold to drink. And I've never had like a White Claw, but oh my God, this stuff is disgusting. I don't know how
White
people
Claw's
drink this.
gross.
Law is not the law. Ooh, that is gross, man. Yeah, I was watching the race. Definitely watched the whole thing, and there was something about like, and now mind you, I didn't watch all the qualifiers and all the practices, but like I had read a lot that the Austrian fans were kind of like cheering when people were getting hurt. And I'm not exactly the biggest Max fan to begin with. I'm not a huge Red Bull fan. And so, like, I'm glad that they did not win. Like, I'm a hater in that sense. But Ferrari, man, they just – at first it was funny because the minute we were sitting, me and Steven were watching it, you could tell something was coming out of the back of the car. And I'm not mechanically inclined, but I'm like, ooh, that's not good. That is not good. And then we were watching it, and I was like, holy shit, the car's rolling backwards and it's starting on fire. And then like for like maybe a 3 count, like 3 Mississippi, like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Like I'm like, I don't want to see somebody die, man. I don't know if these cars can like fuel and fire. Like in my mind, it's like action. Like, please get the hell out of the car. And they got out, and then he was just sitting there, and it was like, you're effing Ferrari.
Yeah.
How come you cannot build a car that just does what it's supposed to do? Why does this continue to happen? And then to your point, the intrigue, the last couple laps with the throttle getting stuck, I'm like, no, not for Charles, man. I felt for him. I'm like, please, Charles, just bring this home. Bring this home, Charles.
You thought of me. Don't say Charles. You thought I was going to cry if Charles blew it again. Because I would have. I don't know how I feel because Ferrari, like even Max said it, they had pace, and everyone's saying like they dominated. Even I thought Red Bull was going to kill it because all the straights, and this track. But Ferrari looks fast, and if they could get their shit together and their strategic down, I could see Charles actually coming back and Ferrari actually winning this whole thing.
I like, and it was nice. It was like another step forward. Lewis Hamilton had a garbage weekend, and to come away with a podium, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was a big deal. George in 4th, but it looks like Mercedes continues. Like, in my opinion, besides the porpoising, they have had the most consistent car recently. Where both drivers, obviously the one accident where George was unable to finish, but to me, that's the sign of a true champion because Ferrari's like the flashy. You have all the tools, all the but you can't just put it together.
Yep.
And here's Mercedes, 7 straight championships, like constructors, or is it 8? It's 8 constructor cups, right?
Yeah.
And they're off to a terrible start, but you know what? Their cars finish. They're not having these issues. And then I think ultimately with the porpoising, I think that was just an engineering flaw that it looks like they're slowly starting to work out. And so one thing that I read and that they acknowledged during the race that had Lewis had a good start, like where if he was like, P1 through 4, like he might have actually been able to compete a little bit more because his car was showing some pretty good pace.
Yeah, he drove really good because I think in the sprint he placed 8th, and to finish 3rd was awesome. And I think when you said This might be why I like Ferrari. You said they're flashy and have everything, just can't put it together. That's kind of like me in the hobby. I know what I'm doing and everything. I just can't put it together to get dubs.
Yeah,
So
you look good, right?
yeah,
You say and do the right things, but then all of a sudden your engine blows out and you're on fire.
exactly. I look at an eBay comp and I'm like, what's going on? So that I kind of like that.
Hey, man, if I can be the Mercedes of the hobby, I'll take it.
Yeah, you're the Mercedes of the hobby. The Red Bull, we don't have to talk about. There's no one. But they don't have a race this weekend, and it kind of sucks. I love race weekend now. I'm starting to fall in love with Formula One. And it sucks because I'm obsessed with baseball. But it's not fun. I mean, it's fun to watch, but I can't get into it this year. I don't know why. And I don't know. You said the same thing with your Cubs, and I think your Cubs yours is prospect. They're all young. Mine's the Red Sox, and they're in the playoff hunt. And I'm still like, I don't know why I can't get into it.
I think for the Cubs, there's I'm going through like a little bit of like a mourning period because after they won in 2016, they were like a year earlier than everybody expected. Like everybody knew they were going to be good, but everybody thought it was going to be like maybe a year later. So after they won in 2016, I legitimately thought like, holy shit, this is going to be a dynasty team because Chris Bryant's still young, Rizzo's still young, Javi Baez is young, Jason Hayward's like, even though he's struggling with the bat, is just dynamite defensively. We've got these prospects like Nico coming up, and it was just, and you have Wilson Contreras, but like Chris Bryant, like what the hell happened to him? Anthony Rizzo, like just stopped it. He's having a very nice resurgence in New York, but I don't even know how much of that's like truly him or just him being surrounded by like, hey, we're going to throw to Anthony because we don't want to throw to Aaron Judge. You don't want to pitch to Aaron Judge.
Or
So
how
like
short it is.
we were at National last year when they killed it, and it was just like a very like, man, Javi Baez traded, Chris Bryant traded, Anthony Rizzo traded, like the end of an era, right? And so then you're getting excited. I bought a Kevin Alcantara Bowman first auto that day at the National in his Yankees uni because that's who the Cubs got back, right? Like, all right, time to get on board with these new prospects, but they're still a couple years out. The Cubs are struggling. They're not playing great ball. And it is, man. It's just tough. And I don't have anybody that lives around me that likes baseball like that, where we can go to a game and just, enjoy it like that. And so everybody else is into other sports. So I do feel like baseball is getting left by the wayside. It's becoming more of like secondary what it used to be.
Yep.
But I think that's just temporary. I think as the Cubs continue to rebuild and, start putting a better product on the field, it'll come back for me at least.
Yeah, that's your situation. I don't understand why me, because like I said, we're number one. I think we're second in the wild card right now. I think mine is more. I'm mad at the owners for trading Mookie Betts still, and I can't get rid of it. That's another drink of their White Claw. But ever since they trade Mookie Betts, I'm like, this is horrible. I'm like, he was my favorite player. I would want to PC him, but now his prices are too high. But I don't know. I need to get into it again. But I'm more excited about Formula One right now. And I don't know why.
Yeah, there was Formula One was very popular at the show. A lot of people looking to buy. I think damn near everybody I spoke to is avoiding 21 and looking at 2020. And
Yeah.
so if I were gonna go put money back in F1, that's what I'd be looking at. I will tell you, after the last couple races, the Alpine drivers have been pretty impressive in my novice opinion. And so I would be like looking there, and I'd also be looking at little like Mick. I've been talking about Mick for a while. Now he's starting to get points. And him and K-Mag are driving pretty good. I just think that it's potential play.
Yeah. Let's go back into the hobby. I do want to talk about this. The auto situation. It's kind of scary. There's been autos that Topps confirmed possibly aren't real. You've had the Luca and Mom situation. You've had the Dak Prescott machine writing auto. Like how we're spending big money on autos. That's truly what I like. I love getting auto cards. Um, People like parallels, people like other things, but I like the auto cards. How do I know it's really them signing it? Like I mean, you're hearing stories left and right that there could be forged autos throughout all these cards, but they're getting guaranteed by Panini and Tops. Could you possibly buy these and determine that they're not and send them in? How does this work? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I want. So the weird thing for me is I don't like cards that are autographed after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to take like hey, this Steph Curry and get it signed by him and then get it slabbed. Like if the
Mm-hmm.
card wasn't intended to have an autograph, it's not appealing to me. Where I'm curious is, and I don't know this enough because I've never had to deal with it because I don't play in Manny money, which is 5 figures on a bad day, 7 figures on a
Never
mediocre day,
that.
8 figures on the best of days. Isn't there some guarantee from PSA that if there's something that's not legit with your card, they buy it from you for what it's supposed to be valued at, or something along those lines?
It should be. I mean, if they're guaranteeing that the auto and they're grading the autos.
Well, I mean, isn't that the thing? So, like, what happens if you get like, hey, this card is guaranteed by Panini America, and then you get it slabbed and you get the auto grade, right? And then come to find out it's Luca's mom that did it.
Mm-hmm.
The hell, man! I just spent $15,000-$20,000 on this card, and it's not even legit.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, what happens with the PSA cards that didn't get the auto grade? Like, because there's a lot of people that just don't want to pay to get the auto graded. Like, for example, another person that has controversy is Messi. I mean, most of his autos they came back that they're not him. Like, there's so many autos out there that I can't trust. And now they're coming out with a PSG exclusive for 15K. And then everyone's saying it's 15K because you got Messi, you got Neymar, but the star is Mbappe because he never signed for Panini or
Yep.
Tops. How do I know that's Mbappe? You're spending 15K and you don't even know. I mean, they're guaranteeing Tops is guaranteeing it's Mbappe, but were they in there in the room? Like, do they have proof that he's signing these?
Again, that would be the only way you would know, and that's why it would be like if I went and I met Brian Urlacher, he signed it in front of me. Okay, I know that this, and then I get it authenticated. But I don't like the looks of those cards. Like I see that Justin Herbert card, the silver
Yeah.
prism with his blue autograph across it, and I don't like the way it looks. I really
So
don't.
it makes me kind of turn because, like I said, I like the auto cards. It kind of turns me off to the auto cards. Maybe I should just go to the parallels, because relics aren't even game used anymore. So in
I'll
some
tell you what.
cases,
If somebody wants to comment on YouTube or wherever, you can leave comments and let us know like what PSA going to throw us some money if
yeah,
they are in fact deemed not authentic, or like like LaMelo comes out and is like, yeah, Bridges was doing my auto,
yeah,
or my boy was doing it. Like, am I getting my money back? Because I don't want a Mama Doncic autograph. I really don't.
yeah. It's a serious situation that really, I mean, it's starting to come out in the light. But if you think big picture, it's scary.
So the PSG box, 15K. I think it's 40 cards, 20 autos, and 20 base cards. Right? Am I correct in that breakdown?
Yeah, I believe. Let me see. I believe 20 autos, 20 base. Isn't there like with the autos, it's like numbered?
Yeah. So the autos, you have refractors.
Yep.
You have wave refractors, speckle refractors, black refractors, gold refractors, red refractors, super refractors. Tops did clarify that Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe autographs appear in every box, and you could potentially get duplicates.
And what is it? 230 boxes? Was that the
Something along the 270 sets in total.
so they're numbered to 270, but you could possibly get a numbered like a gold or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at that point you're paying the premium because you want the lowest numbered Mbappe refractor that you can get.
That would be, I don't know. That imagine getting like a base auto of his when you pay 15K for it.
My fear would be I would buy a box because
Yeah,
to me this would be cool, but I would get like a super fractor and it'd be like some defenseman I know nothing about, and then
yeah,
my Mbappe auto would be like the shittiest one that you could get.
yeah, and that's what majority of these boxes are going to be.
But I mean, knowing that there's only 270 of them, like to get like the super fractor auto of Mbappe would
Yeah,
be that would be awesome. That
it's
would be
his
sweet.
first auto, and I mean you get Messi autos, but I don't know, 15K is kind of steep. It is steep, not kind of steep.
So let me ask you: can we assume? Is it fair to assume that when the Mbappe superfractor autos pulled, that we're gonna have to watch a shit? Not have to. That sounds bad. That we're gonna get to watch Shea flying all over God's green earth with Empire cards to go acquire it. Is that
Yeah,
how it
yeah,
works?
yeah. That's probably what's gonna happen. Where'd he go next to Norway? Around Norway?
I think he went to Norway by the card, but every time I looked at him, he was at a museum or at the Eiffel Tower wearing a beret.
Yeah. I want to clarify because this picture's hilarious. He looks so much older than the guy he bought the card from, but the guy that he bought the card from looks like a giant compared to him. So when there's a picture of like them hugging, it looks like he's like the child hugging this guy he bought the Messi from. It was hilarious. I do love his content though. Maybe we should get him on soon.
I love Shea. I have when Shea and Putnam Cards had their show, I
Mhm.
was a huge fan and I loved it because I just felt like anytime I've ever interacted or met with Shea in person, that's who he is.
Mhm.
And one thing I can't quite figure out, and I'm gonna ask him, that he's always like looking for like acceptance or he's looking for something. And I don't like, bro, just be yourself. Who gives a
Yeah,
shit what big corporation's giving you money or not giving you money? You say you're about the hobby, you love the cards, man. Just keep doing it your way. You don't
I
have to
know.
do it. I would be like, you don't have to do it the way everybody else does it. Do it your way. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah. And who's going to France and document it and walking up all the stairs just to show his card off or going to Hawaii to get another card? I mean, he's doing it all. He's living the life. Going to Miami and sweating his ass off when he was trying to walk through the whole F1 track.
Yes.
That was hilarious.
Yeah,
So
I mean, if you like really think about it, like I don't know if I know it's Shea Wave Vlogs. I don't know if I don't think I've ever seen if he has a YouTube channel, but I always watch it and I always like try to be incredibly supportive because I do like it because that's just a normal dude, man. That's just
yeah,
somebody being themselves. And like when he looks in the camera and he shakes his hair or he's like, I'm doing this for the hobby. I love that shit.
yeah, yeah. I love his content where he's asking like, what was it, 20 questions in like a minute or something like
Yep.
that. I do like that. We have to get him on. He's hilarious. Maybe he could explain to us his trip a little more detail.
I, I would love to. I think I'll make it happen. I'll reach out and I'm sure he would love to get on. I'd also love to understand the whole thing with like, is it just two buddies pulling their money together? And like,
He's a yeah. He has El Chapo in his back pocket.
Manny's making these accusations, allegations, speculations, hearsay, not me.
Yeah,
I'm just here for pictures of cardboard.
yeah, yeah. Did you want to get into knowing your host, or do you have any more topics?
Yeah, no. Let's get to know somebody.
All right, so we did this the last two episodes. First, it was me asking questions to Jeremy. Jeremy asked me questions to me. So if you haven't seen them, go back to the other ones. They're hilarious. We're gonna do it again, round two. And I actually put some thought, and I was trying to get some questions that I know Jeremy might answer in a funny way because I'm starting to get to know him a little bit better, just like everyone else is. So some of them you have to think because you made me think
Okay.
about last week about the if I was stranded on an island. So I'll start off with the this or that type questions, and then we'll get into the other
Sure.
ones. The first one's going to decide our friendship too. Batman or Superman?
Neither.
Neither.
Yeah, I am not into like superheroes at all.
Oh my gosh, it has to be Batman. He's a normal human being.
He's got some money, right?
Yeah, he has money.
All right, I'll go with Batman.
He's kind of like Shay. Kind of. I mean, if you really want to put it out there.
I know nothing about superheroes, man.
Okay. I know you have kids. You have daughters. Anna
Correct.
or Elsa?
Ooh, the one that didn't get frozen. I don't know the
Anna.
name.
Anna. Wait,
Yeah.
no, the one that didn't have the powers or had the powers?
I clearly don't know what the hell. I saw the movie one time, I think, right? Because they had that like Olgar or whatever, like the snowman with like
It's
the dick
Olaf.
nose. Oh,
Yeah,
Olaf.
Olaf.
Ask me
Um,
about Moana. I can do Moana, but like
I-
I don't know the ice one.
my daughters are just getting into it, so it popped
Yeah.
in my head. Um, Chicken nuggies or hot dogs?
Michigan chicken nuggies because Kegel hot dogs or Kogel, whatever the hell they call hot dogs out here, absolutely disgusting. And so that like let me tell you, that's why we didn't have Canes because it smelled so good. We by design didn't eat. We were back in Chicago, so we were gonna go get like authentic. We were gonna go to Bona
Yeah,
B for Portillo's, and
yeah.
so because we don't have good food like that out here in Michigan, so that's
So
why I didn't have Canes.
I've never had a Chicago hot dog. So when I go with you, I have to go eat
Vienna
that.
Vienna beef or like a nice David Berg. That's it. You'll never want to eat whatever that sponge crap in Michigan is.
Well, we do have good chili dogs in Detroit. There's like they're top like in the
No,
nation.
but that's bullshit because the whole thing with the Coney dog is like you take a shitty hot dog and you mask it with a bunch of crap.
It's so good.
What the hell? It's so disgusting, man.
Um, PB peanut butter or Nutella?
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter. I know you're hard.
One big scoop after lifting weights before bed.
Have you tried the peanut butter with honey in it? It's so good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that one's the best. And I know
People who put peanut butter in ice cream are assholes because peanut butter is only good by itself. Peanut butter and ice cream is just an absolute abomination, and I will die on that hill.
All right. And I know you work out, right? You got nice glutes, you got nice chest. Bench press or squats?
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
Deadlift's my favorite. I've had 2 shoulder surgeries. I will say squat by a little.
By a little.
By a little.
That's underrated. A lot of people like the bench press a little bit more.
Nah,
But I like
you know what? Yeah, no, squat. Like there's just you have a big bruise across your back. Like I have to when I buy pants, it's fucking goofy because I have to buy pants that are way bigger from my waist so my quads fit in them. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So it's like any girl with like a big donkey who says a man doesn't understand her plight. I got you, girl. Like I understand what goes into it. Like squats, man. Dude,
Squats.
plus it raises your testosterone. Squats is where it's at.
All right. So I know the answer to this one because I'm the opposite, but I thought it'd be cool to put it in. Play it safe or take risk.
Take risks.
And I'm play it safe. And we're kind of like that with the card market too, because I'm always the one that says, "Hey, how about we don't get this, or maybe you shouldn't." And you're like, "I got that. I don't care." Type vibe. Psychopath or sociopath?
I want to be clear. There's no context to this, so I'm going to go psychopath.
All right.
Psychopath.
I thought you would answer this one funny. Financially bankrupt or emotionally bankrupt?
Which am I?
Not all you would.
I would rather be. Say that again.
Financially bankrupt or emotionally bankrupt? I'm both.
Well, financially bankrupt.
Financially bankrupt.
Yeah, no. You once you're emotionally fucked up, like that's tough to come back from. So at least
manicure or pedicure?
Manny's the hands, Petty's the feet, right?
Nope.
I like both. I'm a Hilton girl, bro. I
Really?
like them both. Yeah, hell yeah.
This one's a good one. Third nipple or extra toe?
I go extra toe.
Extra
There's a
toe?
lot of people. There's a lot of people that like feet, and I feel like I'm business savvy enough where I can get an OnlyFans and parlay that into some bucks, which I would distribute back into the hobby. So I'm gonna give me 11 toes. Then I can count to 21 on my hands and toes.
Would
Having
it,
an advantage as a kid.
I just imagine two big toes on one foot.
There you go.
So do you have, like, being a baseball fan, do you have any weird superstitions?
I used to
Superstition?
I used to always spit into my glove when I went out into the field, and I always kissed my bat.
You kissed your bat, even
I
with the
kissed my
pine
bat.
tar on it? Did you have pine tar?
I would kiss. No, I would kiss the barrel of the bat.
The barrel of the bat?
Hmm. I also, when I was a kid, I used to cross myself, and I wasn't a religious person, but my favorite baseball players did it, so I was like, I got to get up there like I'm doing something.
That's funny. I would
So I
do
go
the
up there and swing at sliders and look like an idiot.
yeah. I would do the Nomar. You know when he tightened his glove?
Yeah.
I would do that. Don't know why. What I know you're Mr. Perfect, so this is going to be really hard for you. What's something you've never been able to do well?
Abs.
Me just making money on
I
sports.
did. The other day, I was like I fluctuate. Like I've got like a 30-pound variance that it's just like, and it happens quickly. Like I lose weight and I gain that same 30 pounds like back and forth
Yeah.
really fast. So I've got like thinner, and then I've got like fucking fat ass, right?
Yeah.
And it moves so quickly because the moment like I just cut out beer, clean up the diet just a smidge, the weight melts off. Then the minute like I start chilling and drinking a couple beers, like probably having a White Claw is not going to help. Yeah, I've never like the other day I was like, man, I've done everything in my life that I've wanted to except fucking abs. And so like I think that's going to be a goal because I'm starting to get fat again because I'm like I use work like as I make money and I'm working for my family, I justify like eating like a king and maybe skipping a workout. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go abs. I've never been good at abs.
Abs. And we need to get a hold of Bro Namath. And if we're trying to get in shape, maybe he'll hire us for like a couple weeks and we'll just move stuff for him.
No, here's the thing. Like I'm telling you, we can document it. We make a whole series out of it. I could drop like 30, 40 pounds in like 20, 30 days, like easy. It's just like I get right there. And then I'm like, man, everybody like the other night we were in Cincinnati, man. We're going these top-notch fine wines, fillets, hors d'oeuvres, drinks, and it's like I'm married. My wife loves me. I'm fortunate that Courtney loves me for me. So
Yep.
it's like, but yeah, no, I want abs. I want abs.
Abs. All right.
When I get abs, I'm gonna throw away the fucking washing machine and I'm gonna go out in the pool and Courtney's gonna do her laundry on the abs on the old
jeez.
blackboard. But everybody in the neighborhood watch.
I was
You know
gonna
what I
say
mean? Your husband ain't doing this. Court, let's do some laundry, and she's just bum, 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 all over 8 abs.
Oh, 8, not 6. If you go big, you're going all the way.
I have to, man. I got to do it because one day I'm going to be too old and it's not going to be an option. So that's the one thing. I've never had abs.
All right, I like that. Like I said, mine is actually making money in the hobby.
So, you're all right, man. You're good.
This is my last one. What would you do? I'm scared of the answer. What would you do if you were invisible for a day?
If I was invincible for a day.
Yep.
Invincible.
Oh boy.
If I was invincible.
Don't get too thick canceled.
No, I've got a feminist wife and 3 daughters, man. Trust me, nothing weird's coming out of me for this one. I would probably like sneak into some like boardroom or somewhere like high level where there's some serious decision making going on and just understand how they derive at these answers. Like I know at times it's money that leads to like some of these dumbass situations. Like we've all had a job where they just do something that's stupid. It's not about the betterment of the people. And but I would just like to be a fly on the wall for some like high level conversations.
I like that. I was good. And going to that, it would be cool to. We all know what you want. We all want to be at PSA watching them grade our cards and seeing why we get a 6 instead of a 10.
Dude, I had an order pop today from February of 01.
You do good?
June, July. So 17 months.
Yep.
17 months later, pop today.
You do good? No.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to do good. I was expecting 7s and 8s. So we had finished building this entire set. So I'll have the complete set and I'll share it when we get it. But there was no expectation. It was just it was the first time we ever built an entire set, including the checklist. And so like when it popped, I went and saw, like, I actually haven't even seen the grades yet, but I have an order at PSA, so I'm monitoring it. And so I went and checked the registry, and I saw the cards, and there was, I think, a healthy amount of 6s and 7s. So
yeah, see, I want to be invisible so I could go and see what they're dinging off my cards.
I think you would make a very good invincible person.
No, I wouldn't. I talk too much. I'd probably sneeze or cough and screw it all up.
You know, they would just see Kane's chicken floating through the air.
That's true. We just munching on Kane's chicken.
Yeah, man. So this was a fun, man. 70 minutes went by fast. I'm gonna have to ding you for those 12 minutes that we went past the hour because I only committed to you for 1 hour, so you're gonna have to pay the overtime. That's no big deal.
I know.
You got that big CBS payroll, so
yeah. You guys don't know this, but I only get an hour with Jeremy, and after the hour, I have to pay by the minute. Kind of like you said, you're my Uber driver. So,
hey, you know what? Big ups to my daughter. She's driving, like, so she is like my chauffeur. We were downtown Cincinnati last night, and I was like, "You're driving. I'm just gonna relax. Get me here, 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 here." But no, it's gonna be fun. We do have a couple of I would call them ancillary episodes that we're gonna be dropping. So we want to be more active than once a week, and we're just working on like the roadmap and how that makes sense and how it's consistent. You know, one thing that we found, or me personally, is like certain things that if it's not consistent or I don't know how or when to access it, I kind of like lose interest. So we want to make sure that we're consistent. Whatever we commit to, we do it.
Yep, I agree. And also stay tuned because this weekend we might, if you're new to the hobby, you're going to want to listen to this next episode that we do.
Yeah, it's we you know, big ups to everybody who takes a moment to send any kind of note, whether it's good, bad, indifferent. I'm really appreciative of the criticism because truly, if you're going to take time out of your day to check us out, we want to make sure that we're making it worth it. And so, like, truly, I hope you have a laugh. I hope you learn something, and I hope you just understand it's two people who mean well. Might not always know how to get there the correct way, but our intentions are pure. And so we want to do like a fun educational episode. And so we want to make sure that we plan it, and instead of just shooting from the hip, that it's well thought out to ensure that, you know, because people I'm sure will check it out, and we want to make sure that, you know, for if it's 60, 92 hours, that it's spot on and it touches everything.
And I do want to say, if you're listening and you are new and you have like, if you're listening, you're like, what the heck are they talking about? Comment or like DM us and we'll talk about it on the show. I know the reason why we're doing this is because there's someone that watches. He's a good friend of mine, Sean, and he got a hold of me and he wants to get in the hobby, and he's like, you guys say a bunch of acronyms like PSA, BGS. I don't know what they mean. Can you have one episode where it's just something for the new person that wants to get in the hobby? Because I don't know what to buy. I want football, but there's so many brands. There's so many grading companies. There's grading companies that I never even heard of. So it'd be nice to have you guys talk about it. So that's what we want. Well, and if there's ever anybody new in the hobby, we could just direct them to that video. So that's what we're going to do. I didn't know why to say it, but I'm kind of excited about it because it's actually something that is needed. Because when I came in the hobby, I was buying up Luca second years for for $50, and now they're like $5. So
it's more than needed. Yeah, I know we're running long, but ultimately there's a lot of assholes, man. There's like a lot of people who are unapproachable. There's a lot of people who are anything that you bring up, they talk down or make you feel uncomfortable. And at least for the Reckless brand, and I just know Manny is a human being, like we're the exact opposite. We don't take ourselves serious. And I'll share, we share our PSA fives, our sixes. We don't take ourselves serious. And we want to be a spot where you can come have fun, have like an authentic conversation, but also like if you ask a question or have a thought or opinion, you don't get shat upon.
Yep. I like that. But we'll end there. I hope you enjoyed your hobby release. And talk to you this weekend.